Welcome back to the channel. So last night I had the opportunity to go see an early advanced screening of the Flash movie. Last night I did do a quick video briefly describing my experience and my thoughts on the movie, which was spoiler free. I had asked if anybody was interested in a spoiler version, so that's what today's video is going to be. So if you do not want to hear any spoilers about the new Flash movie, you might want to turn this off now, because that's what I'm going into today on this video. Basically, I'm going to be breaking down scene by scene every single thing that goes on in the movie. So let's get started. Basically, the movie opens up with a scene between Ben Affleck's Alfred asking the Flash for help. He says that he's tried to reach out to the rest of the Justice League with no availability. Everybody is either not answering or they are busy. Aquaman is not answering, Wonder Woman is not answering, Superman is busy fighting some type of volcanic eruption, Batman is busy chasing some goons out in Gotham, and he asks the Flash if he can help him try to save some people. Basically, there's some type of like medical center or hospital to where there's a floor with a whole bunch of newborn babies, and the building's about to collapse. The babies are about to go flying out the window, and can the Flash run over there and help very quickly? So basically, that's the scene we get. We get this very slow motion running scene of the Flash running up this building, trying to rescue all of these newborn babies, which is very strange because it's, you know, a serious situation seeing newborn babies flying out a window about to hit the ground. But the Flash, you know, doing what the Flash does, he makes it very humorous as he's rescuing the babies. He does it in a strange way. Each one gets rescued in some type of silly way. And of course, he's able to rescue all the babies. From there, we shoot on over to Ben Affleck's Batman. Like I said, he's busy chasing some type of Gotham goon. They're on a bridge, and they so happen to go off the bridge, and Batman's trying to hold on to this thug by one hand. He's slowly losing his grip, and the guy's about to fall, but he's holding a briefcase full of some type of explosive device. It looks like some type of gas or liquid that, if it's released into the atmosphere, is just going to destroy everything within Gotham. Kind of reminds me of something like the Joker would do. So as Batman's losing his grip, we see Wonder Woman's lasso come down and grab the thug and pull him up onto the bridge. So this is our brief introduction into seeing Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman in the movie, and that's the last time you see Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman in this movie. She has a quick 30-second cameo, and that's it. The same goes for Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck is barely in this movie, which I thought was strange. I thought it would be mainly the other way around, like this movie would revolve more around Ben Affleck's Batman and less of Michael Keaton's Batman, but it was actually the opposite. We get a ton of Michael Keaton and only a few minutes of Ben Affleck's Batman, which I thought was great. So maybe we could have done without Ben Affleck in the movie, but I think it sets up the tone for what's going to happen towards the end, which I will get to. So from there, we go to what's going on in the Flash's life. Basically, if you know the Flashpoint storyline, the Flash loses his mother. His mother is murdered, and the father is charged for the crime. So now the father did not commit the crime. In the story, like in the comics and even on the TV show, it was the Reverse Flash that was responsible for his mother's death. He's on this mission to become the fastest man alive, and he just wants to destroy the Flash in any way possible. And that becomes the main antagonist within the comic book, is the Reverse Flash. In this movie, that's one of my first issues, is there is really no main antagonist for the Flash as a villain. The main antagonist in this movie is General Zod. So basically, yeah, we're dealing with the father is about to go to trial for the murder of the mother. That's my other problem with this movie. As mentioned, like I said, there's nobody responsible for the mother's death. We do not get any answers as far as who killed the mother. All they tell us is it was possibly some type of home burglary, and some random person was trying to rob the house and found out the mother was home, and she just so happened to be killed by a knife in the chest. I'm not buying that. I think it's really stupid the way they set that up. But that's what they did. So basically the way it happens in the story in the movie is, you know, Barry Allen is a young child. He's at home with his mother and father. The mother realizes that she does not have tomato sauce to cook for dinner. She had gone to the supermarket earlier in the day and forgot to get the tomato sauce. So she asks the husband if he can go back and pick up the tomato sauce for her. While the husband is gone, Barry's father, this person, whoever it is, comes into the house, I guess tries to burglarize it, and ends up killing the mother. The dad just so happens to be coming home from the supermarket, sees what's going on. He's the only one in the house. He now has blood on his hands because he was trying to help the mom. You know, he just found her dead, and he gets blamed for the murder. So the Flash is basically dealing with the father's trial. The father is about to go before, you know, the jury and the judge the next day, and you know, the dad's like, don't worry about it, just go on with your life. But the Flash is like, no, I want to help you. I want to try to see if we can get video footage from the supermarket to prove that you were at the supermarket while this happened. It will prove your innocence. So he goes back to his childhood home because he knows his father's going to trial the next day. He's just having all these memories, reliving the moment, and he decides to visit the house. All of this anger is pent up, and he's very emotional and angry, and he takes off and starts running so fast that he travels back into time one day. He travels back into time one day to the previous scene, to where he was saving the babies, along with, you know, the whole scene with Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne. So he basically travels back in time one day. He now tells Bruce what happens, Ben Affleck. He's saying, listen, I just found out I have a new ability. I can travel back in time. I can go back and save your parents, Bruce, and I can go back and save my mother. And Bruce is telling him, no, don't do that. You know, my parents' death has made me who I am today. I don't suggest that you do the same. It's what made you who you are today. Messing with history can alter, future events. As far as like the timeline goes, we don't know what could happen. And the Flash has this idea to where, okay, well, maybe I can go back in time and just change one little event, such as maybe putting that can of tomato sauce in the mom's cart. And that's exactly what he does. He travels back in time so that nobody sees him, and his plan is he's going to show up to the supermarket and put that can of tomato sauce in the mom's shopping cart. This way, when she gets home, there's no need for the father to go back to the supermarket. This way, everybody will be home, and all of a sudden now there won't be this random burglary in the middle of the daytime in their house. Again, kind of stupid. I don't know why they did it like that, but that's how they set up the movie with the mother's death. So that's what he does. He runs back to the supermarket, puts the can of tomato sauce in the cart, and he goes to his childhood home, and he thinks everything is back to normal. The mother is now there. The father's not in jail. He thinks everything is going smoothly until he runs into an older version of himself that's about to walk into the house. He finds out that he is not back in his future time. He's now stuck in the past. And he discovers a younger version of himself. He discovers a younger Barry Allen. He's about 18 years old. He grew up normal, doesn't have superpowers. He's had a mother, he's had a father. He's very arrogant. He's very childish. He's very annoying. If you think, you know, Snyder's version of the Flash, you know, Ezra Miller is annoying, this kid is even more annoying. And they even joke around about how annoying, you know, the character is in the movie. So basically, the next day, he finds out that it just so happens to be the exact date that the Flash, you know, Barry Allen, is supposed to get struck by lightning. So in the older version of Barry Allen's mind is, he's saying to himself, well, if this newer version of me, this younger version of me, doesn't get struck by the lightning, then I'm not going to exist. So he has this plan that he now knows, like, he has to make sure this younger version gets struck by the lightning. Otherwise, he's never going to exist, and he's not going to be able to get back home. So they go through this whole process of bringing this newer, younger Barry Allen into the lab to try to recreate the whole moment to where he gets struck by lightning and the chemicals spill on him, and basically what turns him into the Flash. He does recreate the scene, but what happens is both of them end up getting struck by lightning. So now what happens is the newer Flash, the younger Flash, ends up getting powers, and the original older Flash loses his powers. So now this again sets the tone for the rest of the movie. It goes into this whole scenario of, we have two Barry Allens, and the older one is now trying to teach the newer one how to use his powers, how to control his powers. There's lots of humor in it, probably too much humor. It does get annoying because now there's two Ezra Millers. I'm not a huge fan of the actor, but I do enjoy the Flash in general, just as far as like action scenes go. I think the whole slow motion, you know, running and, you know, all those action sequences look great with the Flash, so I do enjoy that. But it just turns into this whole mess of him trying to teach this newer Flash how to be more responsible, how to use his powers, and so forth. So basically, while all of that's going on, now he also messed up the timeline to where General Zod is back with that gravitational machine that's stomping the Earth and about to destroy the Earth. So the older version of the Flash knows that the first time around, Superman is the one that defeated General Zod. So he's saying to himself, we need to find Superman to stop this. He's like, I cannot fight General Zod. They do a flashback where they show when Barry first got his powers and this whole General Zod thing was going on. He's like in this homemade Flash looking ridiculous outfit. It's kind of funny looking, but he realizes he can't fight General Zod. They need Superman. So he tries to find Superman. He's trying to find the Justice League, but in this timeline, supposedly metahumans do not exist. So he's going through the phone book. He's doing these Google searches, trying to find Wonder Woman, Aquaman. He's getting all these crazy, ridiculous results, obviously, trying to search online for them. So while he can't find metahumans, he has this idea, well, Bruce Wayne is not a metahuman. Bruce Wayne is a normal human with, you know, just normal fighting capabilities. So he has the idea to reach out and try to find Bruce Wayne, in which they do. They go and, you know, the older Flash knows where Bruce Wayne lives. He knows who Batman is. And they find his mansion. And they get to the mansion, and the mansion is abandoned. All the grass is growing in. Place looks pretty much, you know, untaken care of for the last, you know, 100 years or so. It just looks like a complete mess. And they walk into the, you know, the Bruce Wayne mansion. Looks like nobody's home. Looks like nobody lives there. And here's where we find Michael Keaton's Batman. Basically, this is what changes the whole movie and what makes the whole movie better. Basically, this movie, I believe, was made in order to bring back Michael Keaton. In fact, I was listening to an interview today with these are directors of the movie who even said themselves, we basically made this movie because we wanted to bring back Michael Keaton as Batman. So I feel like that basically is what this movie centers around, is Michael Keaton's Batman. So anyway, they get to the mansion and it looks empty, and it turns out Michael Keaton is hiding in a closet. Michael Keaton has very long hair. a big poofy beard. He basically looks like some hobo bum that's been living on the streets. He's a retired Batman. You know, he doesn't practice crime fighting anymore. He basically doesn't even look like he takes care of himself. And the Flash is explaining everything that goes on, saying, you know, I'm from a different timeline. We're friends. We're part of the Justice League. He's telling him, he's like, I need your help to find Superman. It's the only way I'm going to be able to stop General Zod is to find Superman. And he asks Michael Keaton's Batman, will you help me? Which he responds, no way. I'm not helping you. So Barry Allen takes it upon himself to go into the Batcave and use the Bat computer to try to track down Superman, because, you know, Batman has all of this advanced technology for, you know, tracking people. And he's getting frustrated because he's just not finding anything. Meanwhile, Michael Keaton's, you know, Bruce Wayne is watching him from the mansion through a hidden camera, which Barry Allen is aware of. He sees the camera on him and he's pleading to him. He's like, please come help us on, you know, the Bat computer. Help, you know, please help us find Superman. So finally, you know, after a few minutes, we finally get to see Michael Keaton as Batman. All of a sudden, he's fully shaven. His hair is cut. He's in the bat suit. He shows up inside the, you know, the Batcave, and he's like, let's do this. I'm going to help you find Superman. He's like, we need to stop General Zod. So they go and they all go on this mission inside of the Batwing, which is absolutely really incredible. The Batwing in this movie is so much better than the previous Batwing. One thing I wish they would have done as well is use the Batmobile. So while we get to see the Batmobile, they do not use the Batmobile in this movie, which was kind of a bummer. I would love to see the Batmobile back in action, but we don't get that. But we do get the Batwing, which is incredible. So they go on this mission. They think Superman is in Russia. They fly over to Russia, you know, both versions of the Flash and Michael Keaton's Batman. And they go looking for Superman, who's supposedly in some Russian military base. And here's where we get that first moment of Michael Keaton's Batman back on film, fighting as Batman. It's just like the old days, seeing the '89 Batman. He's got all of the old Bat gadgets. The old '89 theme music is playing. All of his movements kind of mimic like the old style '89 Batman. You know, the theater is getting pumped up. You know, the fans love it. It's absolutely amazing. It's like, you know, the best moments of the movie is Michael Keaton. So they're trying to find Superman in this Russian base. They find this bunker, but inside of, you know, this chamber, they only find the girl with some type of Superman outfit on the floor. It happens to be Supergirl's outfit. So they don't know who she is, but they grab her just to help her, and they grab the suit and they take her outside of this Russian base. While they're outside, obviously now Supergirl is in the sun. And what happens with the sun? Well, it charges her up. She gets her energy back. She gets her powers back. And all of a sudden, Supergirl is kicking ass. And I absolutely love Supergirl in this movie. She has some of the best action scenes. It's just as enjoyable as watching Henry Cavill fighting as Superman as it is watching Supergirl you know, fight as herself. You get those same great moments with those fight scenes. So also we're getting more Michael Keaton battle scenes with, you know, him running around. He looks, I mean, he's an old man, but he's running around like he's like a younger Batman, kicking everyone's ass as well. But you know, it's a little it's kind of hard to believe he would be doing that at his age, but it looks good. There's nothing wrong with it. Everything, you know, it's Michael Keaton, so nobody really cares. It's just awesome to see him back on the big screen. But basically, anyway, so Supergirl pretty much demolishes and destroys the military army within like seconds because she's Supergirl. So they head back, you know, they defeat them. They rescued Supergirl, and they head back to the Batcave to try to come up with a plan. And, you know, Supergirl's like, you know, I'm this Kryptonian. I don't know why you guys saved me, but thanks. And she takes off. So at this point, the Flash, the older version of Barry Allen, realizes, well, it's just him and Batman now, and he's going to need his powers back. This younger version of the Flash is immature. He doesn't know how to use his powers. They're going to need more help. He needs his powers back. So he has this idea that he's going to recreate this lightning scene inside of the Batcave, hopefully get zapped by the lightning and get his powers back. So Michael Keaton helps him set up this whole elaborate contraption to try to get struck by lightning. He's got this bat kite flying above the mansion that's supposed to get hit by the lightning, in which it does, comes down, electrocutes Barry Allen, but almost kills him. It doesn't give him his powers. Next, we see Supergirl. Supergirl shows up to Bruce Wayne's mansion and sees what's going on, and she goes, listen, I don't know why you saved me, but this symbol on my chest means hope, and I want to help you. Together, we're going to defeat General Zod. She takes Barry Allen, who's almost half dead at this point, flies him into the sky with this thunderstorm going on, and helps him get struck by lightning, and miraculously, this time, he gets hit, and now he's got his powers back. So now we have two Flash, both with powers, running around. So this becomes the new Justice League team. We have two Flashes, both with powers now. We have Michael Keaton's Batman, and we have Supergirl. This is the new, the new team. They're going to go face General Zod. So we get another scene with Michael Keaton and everybody inside of the Batwing. They're flying over to take on General Zod. The Flash tells the younger version of himself, he goes, listen, we can't defeat these Kryptonians. They're way stronger than us and they cannot die. But what we can do is we can slow them down long enough so that Supergirl can get in there and defeat General Zod. And that's the plan. Michael Keaton's basically flying the Batwing, trying to, take down as many, soldiers and Kryptonians and vehicles as he can, while Supergirl is trying to get to General Zod. And the two versions of the Flash are running around doing the same thing, just trying to buy time and distract everybody. So there's this whole major scene going on between all of them. And the way this scene plays out is Michael Keaton's Batman dies, Supergirl dies, and now we're left with two versions of the Flash. And they're looking at each other like, well, what do we do? So they have the idea, let's run back in time just a little bit and go back to the beginning of the battle scene and change things just very slightly. Nothing major, just change it to right before the battle started. And they do this over and over and over again. Sometimes only Batman dies, sometimes only Supergirl dies. But they can never do it to where they save both Batman and Supergirl. So the older version of the Flash comes to this realization that this world is doomed and it was basically made to die. Ben Affleck's Batman was right. We can't go back in time and change this. This world is just meant to die off. There's nothing I can do about it. And what happens is this upsets the newer Barry Allen, because he knows that in his, the other Flash's timeline, that the mother dies, and that didn't happen in his timeline. He grew up with his mother and father, and he was like, starts getting mad. He starts getting angry. He's like, no, he's like, you're not going to give up. He goes, I will travel back in time as many times as I have to, trying to save Batman and Supergirl so they can defeat General Zod and save this universe. And that's what he does. He runs back in time, and the whole scene plays over and over and over again, hundreds and hundreds of times. And every time, it's not working. He's not saving, Batman or Supergirl. But every time he comes back, he's coming back with like a little piece of Kryptonian armor on him during the battle scenes. Like one part, he has like this giant metal blade coming out of his arm, which is really cool. He uses it to fight. But basically, he's turning like into this evil, obsessed version of the Flash, to where he's getting greedy. He wants to save his mother at any cost of any other lives. And little by little, every time he comes back, through this, through the Speed Force, through the Speed Zone, trying to change things, he keeps coming back with different, spikes coming off his body. He basically looks almost like a Doomsday character. He's turning into like this villain. And then that's when we're introduced to somewhat of an antagonist villain for the Flash, which I wish we would have got more of. But inside of this Speed Force zone is this older version who has all these spikes on him and stuff. So basically what happens is this newer Flash ran around so many times inside of the Speed Force. He was there for his whole entire life trying to change the timeline with no success, that he turned into this monstrous villain that just looks absolutely crazy, like I said, with spikes everywhere and stuff and so on. And he's just an evil version of the Flash. So this younger version that's slowly becoming that sees his future self and realizes that's not the outcome he wants. And there's a quick battle between, you know, the real Flash and this older evil Flash until it's hard to explain because there's a lot of Flashes, but the newer Flash basically saves the in-between Flash, like the Zack Snyder version of the Flash. I'll try to throw up pictures to better explain it. But basically he sacrifices his life. So basically the two evil Flashes kind of fight each other, and the older Flash accidentally kills the younger evil Flash, if that makes sense, which cancels the two of them out. Because once the younger one dies, then the older one no longer exists. So basically the two evil Flashes die fighting each other, which one accidentally kills the other, and the everyday normal Flash is the one that's left. And now he's ready to go back and set things right, change the, you know, fix the past so that this way the future is correct again. And that's what he does. We get this. Oh, while they're inside of, before I forget, but while they're inside of the, you know, the Speed Force zone, so because this younger Flash was going around so many times over and over and over again, you know, hundreds and billions of times, it's opening up this, you know, all these different portals for the multiverse. So he's opening all these different doors, and all of a sudden we're getting these great moments. We're starting to see different versions of the characters. All of a sudden we get to see Christopher Reeves back as Superman. We get to see George Reeves as Superman. We get to see Adam West as Batman. We get to see the very first Batman from like the 40s or 50s as Batman. We get to see the first actor that played the Flash from back in the day as the Flash on the screen. And the greatest moment that we've never seen any, you know, on film before was, get this, we get to see Nicolas Cage as Superman in this movie. There's about a 1-minute battle with Nicolas Cage as Superman fighting against some type of Brainiac ship or Brainiac robot. It's absolutely incredible. For anybody that knows the story, Nicolas Cage back in the day during the Christopher Reeves days was supposed to play Superman. He was supposed to have this long hair and this bright, like baby blue metallic Superman suit. And that's exactly what we see on camera. We see Nicolas Cage as Superman fighting in this Brainiac, like I said, robotic ship or something. He's got the long hair. He's got that test footage suit on, and it's absolutely awesome. The crowd went absolutely insane when he came on the screen as Superman. So that was really awesome. We get to see this nostalgic moment of all these past actors that we all love, you know, that brought these characters to life. They're all on the screen all at once. Like I said, Christopher Reeves Superman, the original Supergirl is on screen. It's just everybody's on screen almost all at once, and it's really incredible, special moment. So basically that ends the whole scene as far as like the Speed Force goes and traveling back and forth through time over and over and over again trying to win this battle. So now Barry has to go back in time to set things straight. He goes back to the supermarket to fix things. We get this very emotional, sad scene where he's saying goodbye to his mother because he's about to put the tomato sauce back in the shopping cart, which means the mom's going to die. And that's what he does. He says his goodbyes. Very emotional, tear-jerking scene. Puts the tomato sauce I should say, he doesn't put it back. He takes it out of the cart and puts it back on the shelf. So here's what happens. During the beginning of the movie, the video footage of the dad in the supermarket was no good because you couldn't really see his face getting, the items, from the store. So what Barry does now is, in this last scene, is he goes and takes the can of tomato sauce, but instead of putting it back on the middle shelf, he puts it back on the top shelf because the cameras inside the store are towards the ceiling. So now in the future, when the dad goes to the store and goes to get this tomato sauce for the family, he's now reaching for the tomato sauce up top, and now you can see his face on camera, which sets him free. So now in the future, Barry Allen, while he loses his mother, he does save his father from going to jail. They show this new footage in during the court trial. We get to see his dad's face inside the supermarket getting the can of tomato sauce, and it proves that the dad wasn't there during the murder and frees him from going to jail. So basically the very, very last scene is Barry Allen gets a phone call from Bruce Wayne, and he's like, "You will never believe what happened to me. I have so much to tell you. So much just happened." And Bruce Wayne's like, "Well, I'm actually outside the courtroom." And we get this shot of Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne vehicle. If you guys remember the white Mercedes that Ben Affleck drives, so that's what we see. We see the white Mercedes, and then we see Bruce Wayne get out of the car, and we hear his voice, except it's not Ben Affleck's voice, and it's not Ben Affleck at all. But all we get is a glimpse of his foot. So we don't know who it is, but this sets up the future to where Ben Affleck is no longer Batman. We now have a new actor as Batman. They don't show who it is. I watched supposedly some test screen footage of the movie, so apparently I didn't get to see everything, so I'm looking forward to going back June 16th, and maybe hopefully they show who this new actor is that's going to be playing Batman. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. Overall, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of Ezra Miller and his portrayal as Barry Allen, but I am a fan of the Flash action scenes. So it is very fun visually to watch. I thought Supergirl did a great job in this movie. She doesn't have much dialogue in the movie, but her action scenes are absolutely fantastic. Batman, like I said in my earlier quick review, I was not one who wanted Michael Keaton to come back as Batman. I thought it would be a joke. I thought it would ruin his legacy. I'd rather them do something more Flashpoint accurate with Thomas Wayne as Batman. The dad becomes Batman in Flashpoint. We did not get to see any of that. Maybe that will change during the, on June 16th if they show different footage. But overall, like I said, this movie heavily revolves around Michael Keaton's Batman. They did do him justice. You guys will enjoy him back on the big screen. Basically, the big moments of this movie are Michael Keaton's Batman, and those nostalgic moments of seeing all of those old actors like Adam West and Christopher Reeve and George Reeve, and all these old actors who used to play these characters all together back, we're seeing new footage, Nicolas Cage, all of these actors back on the big screen all at once. Those were like the main moments that made this movie really, really, really special. So that's my discussion today about this movie. I'm sure I covered most of it, but not everything, so you'll still enjoy it visually when you go to see it. But if you did stick around to listen to me rant for how long it's been, a half hour, I do appreciate you taking the time. If you have any questions, I would love to discuss the movie with anybody that wants to talk about it down below in the comments. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Don't forget, June 16th, movie comes out. You guys are going to have a blast. It's absolutely amazing. Take care.